In any given week of Big Brother, the most powerful player is the HOH. By winning the HOH, you have guaranteed safety, you get a private room, and you get to dictate the action for the week as you are the sole person responsible in deciding who the nominees will be for eviction. It's a whole lot of power, but sometimes the power can get to your head. Every now and then, we see a player win the HOH while sitting in a pretty good spot in the house, but they eventually fall victim to the temptations that come with being the head of the house, resulting in them going on a massive power trip that blows up their spot in the game once their reign is over. This phenomenon is called HOH-itis, and it can be deadly. In most of these situations, it results in the HOH being evicted immediately following their reign, meaning it's definitely a game-altering condition that needs to be looked at. So let's do it. Here are the 5 worst cases of HOH-itis on Big Brother.
Hisam is the only voice that matters in the room. Listen, boo, we have voices too, so you don't get to dictate our game all the way through. So, not so fast, Mr. Hisam.
Now, I have a quick little disclaimer before we start. I will not be including any week 1 HOHs on this list. It's not because they don't deserve to be on the list. I just already made a video on the worst first HOHs, and there would be a lot of overlap if I included them, so I wanted to separate the two. Also, if you're not already, consider subscribing. We're closing in on 30,000 subscribers, which is super cool, and I wouldn't be making these videos without all of you, so thank you. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get down to business.
She means business. Let the HOH dictatorship begin.
To kick things off, we have to start with one of the most iconic cases of HOH-itis that there has ever been, and that's when Devin won the HOH in week 2 of Big Brother 16. When I say that Devin went on a huge power trip, that is somehow an understatement. After winning the HOH, Devin could have had the easiest week. He was one of the founders of the 8-person Bomb Squad Majority Alliance, so all he had to do was sit back and make informed decisions with his alliance. Of course, Devin did absolutely none of that and instead had one of the most chaotic reigns I have ever seen. Devin starts off the week by calling a house meeting and admitting that he forced Caleb's hand into targeting Donnie the prior week, which unintentionally exposed a lot of lies that his alliance had made. Then he publicly airs his personal problems that he has with Brittany, nominates her for it, then goes and makes a secret deal with Paula to throw the battle of the block to ensure that Brittany can still be evicted. All of this was behind his alliance's back, might I add. Next, Devin strikes up a problem with Caleb because he thinks that Caleb is becoming too entranced with Amber, and Devin becomes worried that Caleb will become too loyal to her. Keep in mind, both Caleb and Amber were in the bomb squad, so this is silly to begin with, but to make matters worse, instead of handling it civilly, Devin confronts Caleb about it and then decides to denounce the entire alliance on a whim because of it. But there's more. Oh, there is so much more. Devin claimed that his HOH and ultimately who was going to be evicted was going to be an alliance decision, but then he got upset once Zach voiced that the majority of the alliance wanted Paula gone over Brittany. Devin then went on to win the veto, and after having one personal conversation with Brittany, Devin completely switched his stance on her. At the veto meeting, he used the veto on Brittany, he broke his deal with Paula, and then he took a shot at Zach, a member of his own alliance, by nominating him and making him his public target. It should go without saying that Devin, of course, did not take any alliance input when making this decision. And crazily enough, we're still not done yet! Devin then forcefully tried to replace Zach in his alliance with Hayden without running it by anyone, of course, and this completely exposed everyone in the alliance to the other side of the house. And at this point, everyone had had enough of Devin's antics. The house completely turned on Devin, kept Zach, and Devin was evicted the very next week. Devin became a tyrannical terror the second he got that HOH key, and he thought that he could do anything while he was on the throne. It is one of the most severe cases of HOH-itis that I have ever seen, but my goodness, was it one of the greatest weeks of Big Brother to watch. We are unequivocal Devin Shepard stands here.
To win this HOH means everything to me.
This kid is a ticking time bomb. I don't know when he's gonna explode. The only thing I can hope is that he doesn't go power crazy.
Brittany, I've nominated you because last night I poured my heart out to the house, and right after, you took my words and you questioned my integrity. I don't want to make this personal, but I don't want somebody like you in the house.
Please roll the call. I will make sure that you're here next week.
If Pow Pow throws the Battle of the Block competition, Her and Brittany will both stay on the block, and this guy right here stays HOH.
They're having flirt man's gone.
Just detrimental to the team. Just dangerous.
Amber's relationship with Caleb worries me. She's just toying with the guy's emotions, and he's just totally just falling for it.
Who's a bigger threat to us right now? To the Alliance. I don't care to individual people, to the Alliance, not to people outside the Alliance. The only people that matter are the Alliance.
It's chaos.
It's because you're over there talking to Amber, bro. You're getting love struck, and you're listening to everything that she's saying, and you and I have talked about it before, and you know you're my boy, but I'm just telling you right now. Oh, now you're getting upset. Hey, look, this is the thing. There's no more alliance. Look, there's no more alliance.
Okay.
There's no more alliance. We're done.
Okay, cool.
Got your back, but nah, you're just like one of, that's not what half the house is saying, Devin. What are you talking about? God. Whatever, bro. You're a love-struck puppy. That being said, it's not a dictatorship. We are together. So if it's Pal and Brittany, who do you want to go?
Pal is by far the weakest player I've ever seen on Big Brother in my life.
Right.
But I like Brittany more, so I want Brittany to stay.
What are you talking about?
Zach's just told me everything that I need to know. I know who the weak link in this alliance is, and right now my trust is broken.
Honestly, as far as parents, I do have a soft spot, and I hope that one of the parents win. We're not just changing our lives, but we're changing the lives of our kids.
Brittany and I have had our differences, but she's saying a lot of right things.
Brittany, I put you on the block partially for personal reasons, and today I refuse to let a single mother of 3 sit on the block. I'm going to use the power of veto on you, Brittany. So Zach, gotta put you up on the block, brother. You are the replacement nominee.
Thank you. I'm sorry, but you're not a good person.
I was able to have a couple conversations with her. I realized, you know what, she's here for her kids, and I don't want to do that to her.
You did not even say
No, hold up, time out. No, this is after the, no.
You're a liar!
Devin, there's not an ounce of truth in your body. So there's no chance in hell I'm going home, letting you know that now. I'm going after you. Everyone in this house should be going after you too.
Yep, it's cool with me.
So what's your response to that?
Best of luck to you, bud.
All right, touche. Woo!
First and foremost, dude, there's been an alliance since day 2. What I'm saying is we would like for you to be a part of this. You down?
Devin is revealing the golden bomb squad to me, but he's just forcing me to be in it. He says, join or die.
No, I came into the house as the biggest target, and you know what? Ultimately, at some point in time, I will leave the house as the biggest target.
Up next, we have an extremely unconventional case. Throughout the first 3 weeks of Big Brother 20, Sam came across as this southern country darling who was dealt a bad hand in week 1 after getting the robot punishment, but she was able to bounce back and survive those pivotal early rounds. She was endearing and blissful, but everything, and I mean everything, came crashing down once Sam won the week 4 HOH. Sam took her role as the head of household very seriously. So seriously, in fact, that she refused to be influenced by anyone, even in the slightest amount. Nobody was allowed to hang out in her room if she was not there. Nobody was allowed to pitch their case to Sam to not be nominated, and nobody was allowed to know what Sam was going to do for the week. Now, as HOH, Sam is well within her rights to do this. However, it comes across as really dictatorial, and it doesn't do much to help her create new bonds in the game. You know what else didn't help Sam create new bonds? Her nomination speech, where after nominating Caitlyn and Haley, she stated that part of the reasoning was that she felt they flirted with too many boys in the house, and that it was the opposite of female empowerment, and that they didn't have respect for themselves. What the f***? It was a totally out of left field statement from the Sam we had seen throughout the first few weeks, and Sam wasn't even done yet. She continued to not talk game with anyone all week long. Then at the veto meeting, she tried to nominate her best friend in the house, JC, before backing out of it last second and nominating Rockstar instead. But you know what the real kicker is? None of this should have mattered, as she then announced to the whole house that her bonus life power app was automatically being used on whoever was evicted, which would give them a chance to get back in the game. Sam was so needlessly authoritative with her HOH, and it definitely made the house guests look at her differently. Although she wasn't actually evicted anytime soon after this HOH, she certainly lost the respect as a game player from many of the other players, and her win equity plummeted. I'm not even sure if this was HOH-itis or just Sam being Sam, but regardless, I'm putting it on this list.
I want this HOH. Come hell, high water, or giant bird poop, I am not coming out of this tree until I am the last one coming out of this tree. Tyler! Jump down, damn it! Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta show y'all something. I won the HOH. I've already decided who I'm gonna nominate. And once my mind is made up about something, that's that. I will not be moved. Don't even try it. I am gonna be up here, and this is gonna be my room, and nobody is allowed in here unless I let you in here, and I'm in here with you. There are gonna be no one-on-ones. I already have it in my mind who I'm going to nominate, so I don't intend on telling anybody. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say, and I do what I say I'm gonna do.
And now Sam is HOH, and we can't talk to her about nomination. What is going on tonight?
I have nominated you, Haley, and you, Caitlin. Honestly, I don't care for how the two of you treat the young men in this house. And I think that you should both respect yourselves more. And I think that it is the opposite of female empowerment. I think that that sort of gameplay is cheap, and it's the easy way. I'm old-fashioned, and to me, being a lady is what makes me empowered.
I love Sam, but the way she came at Caitlin and Haley, I'm not down with at all.
I'm sorry to any man in this house that thinks I treat you disrespectfully, because that's never my intent.
Caitlin, actions speak louder than words.
I know, so I'm just talking to men, like, because
I
they
know,
feel
but you're
that
just
way.
talking. You're still just talking.
Sam, since I have just vetoed one of your nominations for eviction, you will have to name a new house guest as a replacement nominee.
Right now, I'm gonna decide to put up somebody that is my best friend, and I believe that you're gonna stay.
I don't think that's the right thing to do, Sam.
All right, then I'm gonna put up Rockstar. It is time for me to come clean. I got the first power app. It is automatically offered at this eviction. Whoever is evicted has a chance to come back to the house.
Sam, what are you doing? Like, I'm here in your team. Hello, this is not like how Big Brother works. You put your enemies on the block, not your friends. And you have plenty of enemies in this house.
So, Sam's HOH was one wild ride, but fortunately, after her week 4 reign ended, things calmed down and we got to have a nice calm week. Right? Right! In week 5 of Big Brother 20, we saw Bayleigh seize power from Sam and take the throne as the new head of the house. Going into the week, Bayleigh was in a really good position, not just with Faute, but also with level 6, so Bayleigh was in a spot where she should have been able to have a nice week 5. However, by winning the HOH, Bayleigh put herself in a position where she would have to expose some part of her game, and unfortunately for her, she did a lot of damage to herself. She talked down to players that were aligned with her, particularly Fessy, but she also put a lot of pressure on JC, Scotty, Rockstar, and Rachel, which definitely gashed Bayleigh's social standing in the house. Bayleigh was also very forward about making players declare their loyalty to her throughout the week. Now, part of being HOH is trying to secure and reinforce relationships with particular players in the house to try and make them loyal to you. So it's not a bad concept for Bayleigh to try this. However, she took it to the extreme. It felt like she was making every player pronounce their undying loyalty to her, and if they didn't or appeared to be more loyal to another player, there would be big trouble. And none of this is to mention what even happened in the week. Brett was her target and she used Rachel as a pawn. But to make Rachel feel more comfortable on the block, Bayleigh revealed to her that she secretly had the 3rd power app. Again, I see the idea here, but revealing this information to someone you know is on the other side of the house is an extremely risky play. And Rachel, of course, told Level 6 about this, which killed Bayleigh in the following week. Brett used this information and exposed that Bayleigh had a power app during his eviction speech, which blindsided Bayleigh. And just moments later, she was left even more blindsided once Brett survived the eviction vote. And to top it all off, Bayleigh then confronted Brett and got really upset that he did that, saying she didn't understand why he would throw her under the bus in front of the whole house, as if she wasn't the HOH that tried to send him out the door just minutes before. Funnily enough, I actually don't think Bayleigh's HOH-itis was as bad as Sam's, even though it did lead to her eviction the next week. I think that Bayleigh was happy to finally have some power in the game and she got a little bit too eager, and her attempts at trying to make sure that the majority of the house was loyal to her were just a little bit too commandeering. Although she was able to recover well enough with the players on her side of the house, the damage had already been done, and with the new information about Bayleigh's power app being exposed to the whole house, she was the easy target for the next week.
Your girl is HOH! Woo!
like, I am so excited. This is never going to leave my side. This was my challenge. This is my day. This is my week. You're welcome. Queen Faye is obviously still ruling on her throne, and now my next line of order is to get Brett out of this house.
Here's my spiel to you. Let me tell you this. You're freaking crazy. You do a lot of weird stuff, and I need you to be like Team Bay. If I find out that you flipped tonight and you didn't tell me, I will literally find you and like literally just cut you up into pieces. Gut you. But I need to make sure that you're with me, not with Fezzy.
Are you crazy, girl? Is this how you want me to start working with you? You must be out of your mind right now. I came here to play, not to be some kind of like puppet.
My filter comes off only with you and Haley. Don't you ever in your life, ever say that anything I'm doing is a bad move.
What did I say?
You can stop all your freaking panicking and running around and being Team JC. You are Team Bayleigh and Haley. Your loyalty is only to us, and I swear to God, if you keep sticking your neck out for this little I'm not done.
Fessy is really getting on my last nerve because this is my HOH. I'm gonna put up JC if I want, and regardless if you agree with it or not, you need to shut up. I am so upset, I just can't take it anymore.
I need to talk to you, come here.
Wakey, wakey, let's go.
People think that you're the one who's making the decisions and you're trying to take over my HOHs.
Are you serious?
I'm being serious. I can't share things with you because you blow up and you take it way out of proportion. I look like a little bitch.
Sorry.
How embarrassing is that? Brett's gonna have to go. So I'm considering using you as a pawn. I will tell you one thing. I have the third power app.
I feel like by telling Rachel about my power rap, I don't think she'll hold a grudge. She won't be mad at me later. She'll be loyal to me in the end.
If you share this, I literally will kill you.
Girl, I will not tell anybody.
Bayleigh told Rachel that Bayleigh has the power.
I know that I was Bayleigh's target this week. I also know that Rachel was her pawn. How do I know that? Rachel told me. Rachel also told me that Bayleigh has a power app. That power app gives her the ability to change the nominations next week.
Rachel, you are evicted from the Big Brother house.
I'm annoyed because Brett went out of his way to be all extra and do snitch, and now I'm gonna be pissed at you. Great job, Brett, great speech.
I want to understand why you're trying to make an enemy out of me.
I'm not making any of
Yes, you are, because you go and spill the guts to
Rachel
everybody.
told me.
But why would you throw me under the bus? Make me look like a idiot?
What do you mean? I didn't
I
have the
literally
vote.
just, like, that's up, Brett. Like, it makes no sense. I just don't understand.
Bayleigh, you put me on the block, but now you're mad that I defended myself. How am I the bad guy here?
Up next, we have one of the earliest cases of HOH-itis, and that was when Adria won the HOH in Week 6 of Big Brother 5. Her twin Natalie had just entered the game as a full-fledged player the week before, the biggest house antagonist, Jace, had just been evicted, and she just won HOH. Things could not have been going better for Adria. So of course, she had to go and ruin it for herself. As soon as she got power, Adria pretty much isolated herself from her team that she had been working with, and she did not include them at all when deciding nominations. Adria had been growing worried that Karen and Will were targeting her and Natalie since it came out that they were twins, even though they were supposed to be aligned with the two of them. Adria hadn't yet decided which of the two she wanted to nominate, but the thing that she was sure of was that she wanted to blindside them at the nomination ceremony for some reason. Adria eventually settled on Will, and she nominated Will and Marvin for eviction. She eventually explained that the reason she nominated Will and Marvin was because God told her to do so, which, it's a bit of a questionable explanation, and even Marvin confronted Adria about what underlying reason she might have to nominate the only black man and the only gay man in the house. Adria was obviously not happy about that, and she was also kind of shocked that her alliance didn't have more trust in her and backed up her decision, which is ridiculous, seeing as to how she just nominated one of her allies and told none of them beforehand. Adria went on to win the veto as well, giving her all the power for the week, and even though Will held out hope that Adria would use the veto on him, this probably just made Adria feel even more inclined to stick to her guns and run the house the way she wanted to. So, she didn't use the veto, and as if she had not done enough damage in the week, she then went up to all of the voters and purposefully orchestrated that the vote would come out as a tie so that she could cast the tiebreaker vote. It's one of the weirdest displays of power I have ever seen, and it all culminated in a tie vote where she then broke not just the tie, but a pinky promise she made to never vote against Will, and she sent him home in just really strange fashion. Adria's HOH reign is one of the most confusing ones to look at because it really doesn't make sense for her game at all to play it the way that she did. She betrayed her alliance, she didn't keep her team informed of her plans, she evicted Will, and overall it was just a wild case of HOH-itis. After her HOH, she and her sister were of course evicted in subsequent weeks, which was some good old-fashioned karma if you ask me.
It's A! It is finally here, the safest I have ever felt in the house. It's just awesome. It's great to be A.
I think that Adria was a really good person to win HOH. You know, just see how much of a team effort she's willing to put in.
I do feel safe this week, although I don't know if this is me just being idealistic. With Adria, you never know what she's going to do. Any one of us could be in danger.
And know that whoever I do decide to put up on there will, if it's someone from our group per se, that they should feel good because they know they got the team to back up, that the votes won't be their way.
I could smell the power trip a brewing the second those two girls sat down in the same room together. She was basically not naming a single name, saying she's gonna make her own decision, which basically doesn't make me feel like part of any team. Yeah, I'm worried. I don't know what these two bats are gonna do.
Well, I guess all bets are off with the team. There is no team. They never were. Never.
It's not about the team anymore. It's about Adria and it's about Natalie.
My plan right now is to put up one of the three.
Are you going to tell them about it before you put them up, or just shock them?
Shock. Of course, you all can see now that I have nominated Will and Marvin.
Will was a complete surprise to us. Adria didn't tell anybody about it. It kind of makes you wonder who your allies are in this game.
As of right now, there's not a team anymore. I think that I've accomplished my goal with my nominations, is that I've found out where the divisions are. Right now, Marvin's kind of walking around feeling like a big whooped minority, and that I came at him, you know, because of his ethnicity.
Did the Bible have something to do with you throwing me up this week?
Okay, yeah, because
okay, that's
there
all
you
I
go.
wanted to hear.
I do. I let my faith lead my life, and so absolutely it had something to do with my decision this week.
Don't even go there with me. Jesus told you to vote off the black dude and the gay dude. Get the hell out of here.
I hope it comes down to a tie between Marvin and Will, and I want to be the one who makes a decision. How about that, house? This whole week is going to be all about Adria. Adria. It's going to be Adria's decision. I think that would be awesome because I'm HOH, because I'm the veto holder, and I actually would like to be the one who makes the decision as to which one goes.
The votes are tied. It is 3 for Will, 3 for Marvin.
Well, this has been an incredible week, no doubt about it. It's going to be a sad day for everybody, and I choose to evict Will from the house today. Right,
Adria, if karma's, now listen now, if karma's a boomerang, I'll see you sooner than later.
If what?
If karma is a boomerang, I'll see you sooner than later.
Okay.
And now we have finally gotten to the big one, the one that everyone has been waiting for. The last case of HOH-itis that we're going to talk about today is when Hisam was the HOH in week 2 of Big Brother 25. After Riley didn't include Hisam in any of her week 1 plans, Hisam came into his HOH reign ready to strike back, and he wasn't messing around. In fact, he was so serious about not messing around that he wanted to control as much of the week as he could, and one way he tried to do that was by attempting to make the decisions for every person in his alliance. He told everyone in the professors that they were absolutely not allowed to make any side alliances, and instead, he laid out exactly who each person should get closer with. He was basically playing the role of dictator over his teammates, and it did him absolutely no favors. Not only did this rub his allies the wrong way, because they are not the type of players that like to be bossed around in that manner, but it's ironic too, because Hisam went and formed his own side alliances the next day. At the same time, Hisam's allies were getting fed up about how often Hisam would push his values of kindness, honor, and integrity onto everyone. All the spotlight was on Hisam, and not in a good way. So what's the best way to counteract all that attention? By putting yourself more in the limelight, of course. Hisam wanted all the power for the week, so he gunned for the veto and actually won it. But it was completely unnecessary, and it just made the target on Hisam's back even bigger. Then, at the veto meeting, Hisam supposedly went on like a 6-minute rant about how Riley is his target and listed off many reasons as to why the house should vote her out. Not only was this like the complete opposite of the kindness that Hisam had been preaching all week long, but it was also the last straw for many players in the house. Hisam had placed such a target on his back and rubbed everyone the wrong way so much that the house was on the verge of flipping the vote unanimously onto Cameron in an attempt to blindside Hisam come eviction night. And it's all because he was doing too much with his HOH. Matt was furious that Hisam tried strong-arming him into voting out Riley. Sari and Izzy were fully ready to flip the script and blindside him, and a lot of the house was just not happy with how Hisam treated Riley during the veto meeting. Maybe it's just who Hisam is as a person, and his behavior was misconstrued as him dictating everything in the house, but regardless of the reasonings, Hisam had unknowingly pushed away everyone that wanted to work with him, and he was the consensus house target once his reign was over. And all of this stemmed from Hisam just not being included in Riley's initial alliance. Fast forward 1 week, and Felicia, someone who Hisam believed to be a close ally of his, has blindsided him and put him on the block as a backdoor target. Given how chaotic the Big Brother 25 house has been, there actually is a chance for Hisam to survive the vote, but no matter the outcome, I think it's safe to say that Hisam had a pretty bad case of HOH-itis, and it's come back to bite him pretty hard. Now, his intentions really were to be loyal to his allies, but they weren't having it. Even through it all, though, Hisam is one of the best casting choices of the last few years, and his HOH reign sparked so much fun in the house, and I'm very grateful that he was a part of the season. He was my winner's pick, and even though it's not looking likely that my prediction will come true, he provided a lot of entertainment for the season, and there will be a noticeable hole in the house once he's gone.
Guess who the new head of household is? This was not my plan. I am already seen as a big threat, and I am only making the target on my back even bigger. At this point, there's nothing that Riley can say that will save her. She said my name, and there has to be a response to that. I have nominated you, Riley, and you, Cameron. I am playing a straightforward, loyal game of integrity with purpose. I respect both of you, but I will leave that between us. This is how you win the game, right? Right?
I just hope that, like, if you have it in your heart to work with me, I would love that.
It's not that I don't want to work with you. If I don't mention you, people are going to be like, what? She totally said she was going to evict him. Does that make sense to you? I know it sucks to hear it that way.
God, he rubs me the wrong way.
I'm trying to gently explain to Matt how saving Riley would be really dangerous for his game. So, like, you know, just be careful about when you veto. Really think about it.
I don't like being threatened. Next week, Hisam, we're coming for you.
Well, well, well. Look who has all the power this week. Everyone would have taken Riley off the block, but I won. And now I can finally send her home. To be honest with you, it will be likely at the veto meeting that I will tell people that you are my target. Okay. Right? Riley, you're my target. I'm hoping that my house guests will help me vote Riley out and give us all an opportunity to reestablish relationships.
I can't even believe it. Like, I'm literally in a feud with a 45-year-old man. Like, what is going on?
I'm not gonna pretend. If you are going to be careless, then you have to accept accountability and the consequences of those things. Shots fired, get shots responded to.
The fact that he is so adamant about this is what you should do and who we should target, it's like, damn, what did I get myself into?
As far as I understand, the plan is to get Riley out of this house. But then Hisam had to go and make an ass out of himself in front of everybody. What I want to do is do exactly the opposite of what he wants.
I don't know if Hisam's speech worked the way he intended it to. I'm kind of sitting pretty if Riley stays.
So I think we should all just be aware that they are now gonna scramble post-Riley. It's okay to spend time with them, like stay strong, but no new alliances.
So we're having our first official professor's office meeting. He'll ask and answer his own questions, and it comes across as if what you have to say doesn't matter.
Hisam is the only voice that matters in the room. Listen, boo, we have voices too, so you don't get to dictate, Mr. Hisam. I got a brain too.
Keep a close eye on Jared.
You're not asking me, you're telling me that Jared is a target? Now we have a serious problem. Now I may have to target Hisam.
And there we go. There are, of course, other severe cases of HOH-itis that I didn't go over. These are just the 5 that I wanted to talk about today. When a house guest has HOH-itis, it's usually really bad for their game, but at the same time, it's usually really good TV. So I hope we get to see a few more cases this season. Before we end, I feel like I should say that this video is not meant to be a jab at any of these players. While it can be fun to look at these HOH reigns and giggle at how atrocious some of them were, it's important to remember that these are real people with real feelings, and therefore, we shouldn't tear these players down for what they did in a game, unless of course what they did was actually really bad. I know most of you already know this and don't need to hear it, but I like to give a little reminder just in case. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I, of course, need to give that extra special shout out to all of my YouTube members and patrons who have all told me that they would never let the power of HOH get to their heads. And, as always, here's a clip for you on your way out.
So, just know that we love you, bro. We all love you, bro. Make sure the cash is in your pocket.
Devin has lost his mind. He's giving me this like creepy man hug. It's like super intimate. I think he's gonna like stick his tongue in my ear. Oh.
No, it just feels weird, like we're safe for a week.
And now, you know, it's for me and Nicole, it's time to get down to some serious business.
Hey, can we kiss it out? No.